Hello there and welcome along. Today's rose review is actually one on a rose that's actually now sadly been retired here in the UK. And before you scroll away thinking you can't get hold of this rose, let me briefly explain a few details for you. The time a rose is released determines on when a rose may or may not be retired, and how long it's been retired can sometimes determine how easy the rose is to get hold of. This particular one has now been retired for some time and is now widely available, being grown under license under its Latin name, not its given David Austin copywritten name, and is also widely available through other parts of the world through David Austin and its normal stockists. The particular rose in question is a really lovely one. This is the crocus rose, very popular in America. It is an absolutely stunning ivory cream white rose. So if you don't have space, for instance, for the larger ones like this, for instance Claire Austin, this is a rose that you really should try and get hold of. It's an absolute stunner. First launched by David Austin Roses here in the UK in 2000. It is a shrub rose reaching around 4 feet by 4 feet. It has the most graceful and very well mannered habit. It forms a beautiful shaped bush. 4 feet by 4 feet, it's spherical and round. It's very tidy. It has the most lovely dark emerald green foliage, which you can see here, really very deeply coloured indeed, and highly serrated around the outer edges. A little word of warning on this particular rose: it does suffer with stress slightly, so plant it in partial shade, make sure that you mulch it deeply and watch your watering if it's particularly dry. The reason why I'm going to suggest you plant this particular rose in partial shade is not only because it stops it getting too stressed out, but also it protects the colour. These blooms are the most exquisite ivory cream colour with a really lovely soft citrusy lime and lemon coloured tone to them. Plant this particular rose in full sun and you'll completely bleach out its coloration. You'll end up with a white rose, which is not a bad thing, but it's much prettier in this state, where you have this lovely lemoning and lime green edges to the flower. I've got 3 blooms here, all in very different stages for you. Let's start off with the actual stems themselves. It is quite thorny. The thorns aren't particularly large, but they are backward facing and they are needle sharp. You can see there, they're very pointed indeed. If you plan to cut this one and bring this into the house, this particular rose does cut quite well at lasting about 4 or 5 days in a vase. But if you do plan to cut it, you'll need to knock these thorns off so you can handle it safely. You can see as the bud opens, it's very much a hybrid T-shaped bud. Cone shaped, very tight at the top, and you have this lovely spiraling concession of petals right into the center of the flower. The petals themselves are actually heart-shaped, though that lovely sort of double bunny-eared lobe on them. And this is when the flower has its most extraordinary colour. If I roll the bud round, you'll see that lovely golden yellow glow to the very back of the flower. And again, if I bring that right in close, you'll see that radiating out of the flower itself. It really is very attractive. In the mid stages, a day or so after opening, the flower is deeply cupped. You'll see from this particular bloom here, from the side profile, that lovely quartetted ruffled centre, still maintaining that lovely lemon and lime, deep ivory cream. The petals around the outside actually encasing that central bowl, keeping it nice and tidy. Really very attractive. This is the kind of stage you want to cut and enjoy it and bring it into the house. And then the final stages of the flower, just as it actually blows out completely, you can see those outer petals completely rolling back, that lovely ruffled centre then really opening up to expose that lovely lime green button eye right in the centre. In all stages, the crocus rose is absolutely beautiful and well worth growing. So reaching around 4 feet by 4 feet, it's incredibly free flowering. It will flower all the way from the mid part of June all the way through into the very back end of September, and sometimes even into October. So it's a really good workhorse. I say, if you do plant this rose in full sun, it's going to go into a little bit of stress, mainly because these blooms are so large. They hang ever so slightly. The stems are quite upright. You can see they're more than capable of handling the weight of the flowers. The flowers are born not only singularly, but in small sprays as well, of up to 7 or 8 or 9 buds and flowers per stem. So it really is the most attractive rose, very hard working in the garden. It has the most lovely light hybrid tea fragrance. It's very clean on the palate, and as you would expect from this exquisite lemon and lime colour, it has a really nice light and very floral citrus tone to it. It really is quite pleasant. I'm going to be rating this one at around a 4-star, but realistically for me, it's the way that the crocus rose goes through these 3 or 4 different stages with the flower all the way through until it's completely blown out and drops its petals and looks like this. It really is an enchanting rose from David Austin Roses. So please do pay attention to the caption. In the caption is its Latin name. Search for it under its Latin name, or if you're in a country where this rose is particularly still grown and still available, do seek out the crocus rose, because it's really worth growing. A really good workhorse in the garden. I have mine planted alongside the lady gardener, and it complements her really nicely. But I would suggest that you plant this one in partial shade, where it should get no more than about 4 or 5 hours of direct sunlight per day, preferably in the morning, out of that really hot afternoon sun. And then you'll maintain this really lovely heavy ivory cream color with that lovely lemon and zesty lime color to the center of the flower. Really is lovely. I'm really very keen on this one. I'm so glad I have this as part of my collection here. I hope you've enjoyed today's review, and feel free to leave a comment and a share, and of course like this post. I'll see you all again very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.